Hey everybody and welcome. In this video, I want to go through how you can create LinkedIn ads, as well as touch on important aspects such as targeting, billing, and different facets of the LinkedIn Campaign Manager tool that you will find useful. Now, before I dive into the tool itself, I'll just ask that, if you could support the channel, like, share, comment, subscribe, and also let me know what are other topics that you want to cover, right? Let me know your thoughts as we go through this tutorial together. Now, without further ado, this is the latest 2021 view of how you can create LinkedIn ads. So an over-the-shoulder kind of tutorial. Now, let's dive right in. Okay, so this is your very first homepage, your news feed, right? So how do you get here? So log into your LinkedIn page, right? So linkedin.com, right? And this is the very first thing you'll see, which is your newsfeed, all right? And to advertise on LinkedIn, right, to run ads, you need to go right up to the top right-hand corner here, right? Right-hand corner. Let me just zoom right in for those of you on mobile. Maybe it's too small, but let's just go here. All right, so you see this word called advertise. Just click on it, okay? And it will open up what we call the Campaign Manager tool, okay? So in order to run LinkedIn ads, right, you need to make sure that you have a company page first, right? So you need to make sure that, to run ads, you need to link it to a company page. So this is the company page that we have linked to, okay? But if you don't have one, you'll need to create one company page first. Now, this is not the tutorial on going through how to create a company page, but it's pretty easy, right? Go over here and create a company page, okay? So once you click on create a company page, right, it will pull up this, and you can create a company page, right? And subsequently, once it's created and tagged to your profile, okay, you should be able to select it in your Campaign Manager tool. Now, to create your very first LinkedIn ad or to create any LinkedIn ads, you'll need to create first an ad account, okay, an ad account. So that's the first layer that you'll need to create. So to create an ad account, this is where they will ask you for the currency that you want. Now, keep in mind that the currency can't be changed, all right? Like not at this point. At this point of recording, you can't change the currency. So if you put US dollar and you decide that you want to be built in any other currency, right? New Zealand, for example, or the Korean won, for example, then you can't change it. You need to create a brand new ad account. Okay, so keep in mind currency is important as well as the associated LinkedIn page. You don't need a LinkedIn page to create an ad account at this point of time, but to run the LinkedIn ads, right, to take it live, you need to ensure that there is a LinkedIn page attached to it as well. And of course, once you attach a LinkedIn page to your ad account as well, if you want to create something new, a new LinkedIn page, you need to have a new ad account. Right, it's very similar to currency. So just keep in mind that some of these are immutable. You can't really change it after that. Okay, and just give the ad account a name, like B2B house account or my ad account, right? So just give whatever naming convention that makes sense for you, and just click save, and you're good to go. Okay, I'm not going to create a new ad account purely because we've already got one that's called a B2B house, which is one of the blogs that I'm running right now, just as a sample. Okay, so let's just go right into the ad account itself. Okay, so I've done the whole create the account process, of which I will go through with you some of the settings. Okay, some housekeeping items first. So if you go up to the gear button, these are some of the important things, or rather the admin things that you need to be aware of. Okay, if you want to change the account details, you want to change your ad account name, there you go, you can change it here. So earlier I mentioned, right, you can't change the currency, you can't really change the associated LinkedIn page as well. So once this is fixed, you can't change it. Okay, so that's just want to show you over here, but you can change the ad account name. All right, now the next option that you have here is to edit the account, the manage access, right? So you can actually give access to other people, to other members, right? Give access to other members or your colleagues or your employees or your team, right, to this ad account, right? So you can click on manage access, click on edit, click on add user, and add user's name over here. Okay, and let me just see. All right, and you've got billing center as well. So to run any ads, definitely they'll ask you how would you like to be charged. So think of it like Facebook, for example, or like Google, or like Twitter. You can just add your credit card in, and all these transactions and receipts will show up here when you run your live campaigns. Okay, so just pretty straightforward, nothing special. Just add a credit card and you are good to go. All right, and contact settings, I would encourage you, this is rather new right now, so you can, I would encourage you that you check this too, right? Just check it both. Okay, so and then LinkedIn will automatically support you. It will just automatically send various signals whenever there's an ad rejection or new features or updates. You will get a periodic email about it, right? So that's just keeping in the know. So I encourage you just to check it. By default, it's not checked, so yeah, just go for it. Okay, so that's the admin side of things. Now at the top left hand side here, you will see a couple of options here. The very first is the campaign performance. If you click on campaign performance, it would show you the entire view, like the ad account. It will show you which ad account you're in. It will show you which campaign group it's currently that you're currently in, right? Or you can select the campaign groups here. We've obviously only got one default campaign group, right? But we'll create one in a while, right? And then you've got campaigns as well. You've got ads, all right? So this is think of this like different classification, different folders, okay? So if you double click into campaign groups, you will see campaigns. If you double click into campaigns, you will see ads. All right, so it's pretty, I wouldn't say straightforward, right? But it's just think of it as a classification, different folders, and you'll be able to navigate your way through this. Okay, so the very first thing you'll see is a default campaign group. Now, a very often a big question I get all the time is whether I can delete this default campaign group. I want to keep it neat, right? But so the answer right now is no, you can't. You can't delete this campaign group. It's a default campaign group, and if you want something different, you create a new campaign group for yourself, right? And just leave this one here untouched. Okay, so a default campaign group cannot be edited. Just leave it there. It's something that LinkedIn gives to you. All right. Now, and to create your own campaign group, let's just dive into that first before we talk about performance, demographics, and all the other good stuff here. I'll just go through on a high level how you can create a campaign first. All right, and then we will backtrack it into how do you. We will backtrack after that into the different other functions such as account assets. All right. So create a campaign group. So click on this. Okay. Now you see you get to create a campaign group name first. So let's just call this a sample campaign group 1. All right. Okay. And you've got active. Okay, keep it active, run continuously. So there are 3 options here that LinkedIn gives to you. You can select run continuously, so you can start today, right? So you can just leave it as today, or you can select a certain start date that you have in mind, like let's say maybe next week, February, and maybe an end date that you have in mind, like a really strict end date. For example, if you're running an event, a webinar, right, that is time limited, right? So then you might want to have a fixed kind of schedule, okay? Not unless you're running an evergreen. And for most campaigns, if you're running evergreen lead gen kind of stuff, focus, I would usually encourage you to run continuously from a start date. In fact, even if you are running, even if you have some fixed dates as well, right? I would still encourage you to run continuously from a start date, right? The last option here is you can even include a budget in the total budget, right? So at a campaign group level, if you kept the budget at $10,000 over here, what this means is that even if your campaign on the campaign level, right now this is campaign group, right? So if you double click into campaign, you will see the campaigns within the campaign group. Now, if you kept your budget at 10K, it does not matter that, okay, for example, your campaigns has like 20K budget, for example, right? If the campaigns has 20K budget, but your campaign group only has 10K, right? Campaign group takes precedence, right? It will cap it, right? It will not go above the 10K, although the campaigns within the campaign group is like 20K and more, right? So that's just something to take note of. And this is a big miss. I see it's a big mistake that many marketers do all the time. I can't tell you how often this happens, right? Where marketers forgot to update. Let's say they start off with 10K budget. Throughout the campaign, they realize that they've got extra budget and they update the campaign level to 20K, but they forgot to update the campaign group level, right? Which caps the entire campaign, right? And then they're wondering how come? Why is my campaign like stopped right now? Like, and they get confused because campaign group, you forgot, right? Like most people forget to update the budget when there's a budget update. So Bottom line, my recommendation is leave it open. Just select a start date, right? Just select a start date. Just even select today. Don't even select next week, right? You can change all the settings later on in the campaign level. So don't have to worry about all this. If not, you have to update both campaign level and then update on the campaign group level. There's so many levels to update. My personal recommendation is to just keep it running continuously from a start date over here. Straightforward, as simple as that. All right. Now, with that being said, just click save and you're good to go. Don't worry about it, right? Like you can always select all this, like change it to account on hold. Yeah, okay. So I have not put a billing. That's why I can't change a lot of things yet, but because of billing reasons. But we'll keep going forward. All right. So you can select here to manage this, right? Okay. Now, yeah, that's the reason why I just select start date as today, so that you won't have any other confusion. Okay. Now, with that said, you can tick this, right? And if you tick this, you can select the campaigns, and you will see all the campaigns that is contained within the campaign group. Okay, let me just show you how to do that again. You can either tick this, right? And then it will go straight, it will just open up this, you can select campaigns next, right? This is how you can do it. Or you can just select on the this blue selector, like a URL kind of thing, but it's not a URL, right? So if you click on it, it will just open up campaigns and it will select campaign group here. All right, so at this level now, LinkedIn's asking you need to create a campaign within this campaign group. Okay, so that's it. It's pretty straightforward as well. So just click on campaign, create your first campaign. Okay, and this is where all the magic happens. All right. You can select various campaign groups. The first thing that they ask you is, okay, you want to run a campaign, you need to select a campaign group. Now, we are creating in this sample campaign group 1 campaign group. Okay, if you want to change to another one, you can actually just use a different campaign group, and you can select default campaign group if you want to change it. Okay, now this is something that many people don't realize of how they can change their campaign group. It's over here, right? It's over here. Many people don't know. They don't know how to do it. So now you know you're better than many marketers out there. So good job. Okay. Now, good job just remembering it. It's remembering this, right? If you remember it. Okay. So now a campaign. Let's just put campaign level sample 1. Okay, just as a sample. Okay, maybe you want to call it differently. Okay, so most people call it like, for example, APAC, and then they'll call it, maybe they'll put it the month of the campaign. They'll put like, maybe it's marketers, senior marketers, senior decision makers. All right, and then maybe they'll put 2021. I don't know, right? It's up to you how you want to call it, but make sure you have a good naming convention to understand, right? Maybe what campaign this is about, who you're targeting, so it's easy for you in the naming convention. At least that's some of the best practices that I found useful for myself. Okay, and now once you're happy with this, click on next. Okay, now the very first thing you ask, and this is so important. Now, guys and girls, like, this is so important, right? So listen up. You'll need to select the objective. Okay, the objective will define how you are being charged. Okay, the way you pay for your ads is determined by the objective that you select. All right, so if you select website visits, right? Okay, these are the things that you'll be charged for, right? Your campaigns will be. Let me just show it to you. Here you go. Choose your objectives, right? So you'll be charged for all this, right? When someone clicks on your post, for example, right? The clickable, basically when someone clicks and visits your website itself, right? They're gonna get charged, okay? As compared to, for example, engagement, right? If someone likes your post, follows your company page, any action taken on the ad itself, right? You will be charged for that. So whereas website visits is just that when someone clicks and goes to the website, and then you'll be charged. Okay, when someone clicks on your ad and then it goes, basically driving that traffic, that person, that user to your website, and then that's considered a chargeable click. So that's really important to differentiate, right? Because selecting the wrong one you might be paying for the wrong objectives. The second reason why you should select the correct objective here is that because when you select this objective, LinkedIn's algorithm will optimize for the objective. So if you select website visits, right, LinkedIn will find all the LinkedIn users or members who historically has a predisposition, or historically, based on data background, historically, they would know that this set of audience would likely click on your ads, right? So if you want someone to engage, yes, then they would find users who will likely fit the demographic that you are looking for, number one, and number two, who has a historical data of engaging rather than going to a website, right? So definitely click on the correct one, select the correct objective, because you are being charged for it based on the chargeable clicks. The way you're being charged for the different objectives is slightly different. And number two, most importantly, is that the algorithm optimizes and finds like different sets of audiences based on the objective and the goal, the action that you want. Okay, for the purpose of this example, right, let's just click website visits, because that's one of the most commonly used one. All right. Okay. And then yes, now you will see a couple of different options here. The first one is audience. LinkedIn has already set aside, like, these are some pre-made audiences for you, the most that are pretty common. So let's say we are targeting marketers, right? You can target marketing professionals, new to job market, right? See all audiences. Okay. If you click on see all audiences, these are the different ones that are being they're commonly used, and there's a description for them, right? Okay, so but that being said, usually I recommend that you select and you customize your own targeting here. Okay, but if you're starting brand new, you're not too sure what to do, let's just check it out and see what are the common ones that people are using right now, and see if anything fits your criteria. All right, but if not, this is what I recommend highly. I recommend more, actually. So the first thing that is compulsory that you'll need to fill up is the locations. Okay, locations. Okay, under locations, you can select either recent or permanent. Of course, you can select the country. Okay, you can select one or more country, right? So you can select Malaysia as well. Okay, now we are doing APAC, right? So Asia Pacific probably. Let's just see what comes up. APAC, APJ, maybe that's what you can do as well, right? In targeting whole APAC, APJ. Now, but of course, everyone has a different definition of APAC or APJ. So let's say I recommend that you actually put the countries in properly, okay? The exact countries, so that it's more accurate to what you want, okay? Side note as well, take note that, Vietnamese and Thai and just make sure that Thai and Vietnamese is one of the most common languages that's being asked for the ads, but it is not supported. It is not supported. So keep in mind, if your ad creators or your landing page somehow it's Thai or in Vietnamese, it's not going to get approved. You're going to get rejected. As of this recording, you are going to get rejected, right? So don't even bother running a localized language ads, especially in Thai and Vietnamese. Indonesian Bahasa is fine. Bahasa is fine. I mean, if you're running United States, right? Of course, English is definitely okay, right? United States definitely fine. All right. So, and United Kingdom maybe. All right. So maybe let's just put this as let's just change this North America and UK. All right. Okay, so that's what you can do in terms of targeting. Okay, now the next thing that you want to select as well is this one, recent or permanent location. Now keep in mind that recent or permanent just means that this might also include people or members who has recently visited these countries, right? And how LinkedIn track this is, number one, by first-party data. When a member declares where they are at in their profile, let's say they are from United States, right? Then that's one way to define it. But LinkedIn also checks the IP addresses of these members, like where did they last log in from. And selecting this recent or permanent might also include basically people who are outside this country's locations that you want. Now, if you strictly only want members from this particular locations, then you'll need to select permanent location. Okay, I can't emphasize how important this is, purely because many people forget and they realize that, hey, how come I'm getting members or leads from outside United States or outside the selected countries because of these locations, right? Just make sure that it's permanent location. All right. Okay. Now, the next thing you want to do is that you can narrow your audience right now, and that's the brilliant thing about LinkedIn, where you can start to select the different professional targeting, right? So to select narrow your audience, okay, and not just so now what you're telling the system that you want to target someone in the United States, okay, and then you also want to target, maybe let's just say you're targeting marketers, okay. There are a couple of things that you want to look at. We probably won't cover everything in this video, right? Purely because we are just doing a walkthrough, but I will cover the most common ones that you'll need to take note of, that most likely you will start off with. The first one is go to audience attributes. Okay, and then you can see all this over here. And the most common ones that are being used right now is, for example, you can go to this, let's say you're targeting marketers, right? You want to sell to marketers, you want to generate marketing leads from marketing, from marketers, right? If that makes sense. Go to job functions, okay? There are a couple of things here. You can select job functions, okay? And then you can select marketing. So you can either scroll down, find marketing, and then there you go. Yes, you have selected marketers, okay? People in the job function of marketing. Okay, so job experience, right? Let me just show you, sorry, not years of experience, job experience, job functions. You can select marketing as a background. Okay, and the other thing right now here is, let's say you realize that the audience size here is really huge. Now, what's a good audience size? This is what we call the forecasting results on the site, right? On the right-hand column, okay? And in this forecasting results, you'll notice that if you're just targeting marketing functions alone, you're going to see an audience size of 2.6 million. Now, it depends on your budget, right? So typically, if your budget is like 5K, 4K a month, 6K a month, right? We typically don't recommend like such a big audience size, because you're not going to have enough budget to cover all 2 million, 2.6 million, like in this example, okay? So what we recommend usually is definitely around, if you're running a 5K ad, think about audience size of around 80,000, 100,000, 120,000. That should be a good starting size. Now, not unless you are a really big organization and you've got larger budgets, then yes, go beyond that. Or if you're doing brand awareness, you just want to blanket the market, then go beyond that. But typically, I don't see good results if you target way too big. Okay, but the flip side also happens when you target way too small. If you target way too small, your ads are not going to deliver. Now, way too small means anything lesser than 20,000, anything lesser than 30,000. It's just way too small for you to get any scale for your ads. All right. So anyway, with job function, let's say if you are in this situation and you've got 2.6 million audience size. Now, how do you reduce this size? It's just way too big. If you feel it's way too big, what you can do as well is if you only want senior marketers, you can also add another one, right? So So if you want to narrow again, click on narrow, right? Narrow audience further, and you can narrow one more time with another layer. You can go to audience attributes, job experience, and you can go to job seniorities. Okay, job seniorities, and you say that I only want senior and above, okay, like senior marketers and above. And you'll notice that it's dropped down to 1.7 million, all right? And maybe it's just nice for you. Maybe you've got a huge budget, your enterprise budget to go after this audience size. Maybe you want to target even further, right? And if you want to target even further, okay, just remember to click narrow. You have to click narrow first. All right. So click narrow, and then you can take a look at other facets that might be useful for you. So let's just say marketing, right? There's so many kinds of marketers. And let's say you only want to target digital marketers. You can go to under job experience as well, right? And then you can go under member skills. And what this does is that member skills will just say that I want to target anybody with the skill of digital marketing. Okay, and right now you're down to 700,000. Okay, and that's a much more doable size, digital marketing, right? And in the event that you still feel that, oh, okay, I need to further enhance or further narrow this because it's just my budget is just way too small. I need to get this way below. You can even go by members, member groups, maybe marketers who are in certain groups already, right? Sorry, you're going to remember to click on narrow, right? Click on narrow, right? I'll show you what happens if you don't click on narrow. That's an OR function. Now you're narrowing with unlock an AND function. So I'm just going through the motion first of showing you how to narrow your audience with an AND function first, all right? Okay, so let's say you want to further narrow again. You can say that, okay, now maybe someone who has expressed interest, right, or has member traits, maybe someone who is an expert or frequent contributors or open to education, recently promoted. There are tons of professional targeting that you can look through yourself and to see what makes sense for you. Okay, or you can select someone of a member interest. Maybe someone interested in, let's just see whether they have marketing, right? So they have got maybe B2B marketing, someone who's interested in B2B marketing, maybe content marketing, all right? Okay, maybe let's just say you want to reduce your audience size. Maybe you just want managers, okay? Maybe you just want managers, okay? Or maybe just VPs, right? VPs and CXO, all right? And really high value, high net worth individuals, right? Or highly affluent individuals. And you got VP, CXO, in the function of digital, in the function of marketing, but not just any function of marketing. You've also layered that they have the skill of digital marketing. So not just any generic marketer, but digital marketers, right? People with digital marketing skill in the marketing function, who is of VP and above, and who also have an interest of content marketing. Okay, and that has narrowed down to 100,000 audience. And now that's, if you feel that this is a much more doable size, I feel this is a much more doable size for a to test your audience based on a 5K budget, for example, right? If you're happy, you can proceed ahead and move forward. Okay, now I just want to show you very quickly as well. Let's just delete all this, close, remove all attributes. Okay, I'm just going to remove all this and show you what happens if you don't click on the narrow function, right? If you don't click on narrow, let's say this is narrow here. If you don't click on narrow, which many people forget to click on narrow, right? Many people will just include here and just straight away, let's say marketing function, and they just say that, oh, I also want to target, VPs, right? VPs, okay? You can select here VPs, job seniority. What this happens is that you will unlock this thing called the OR function. Okay, if you don't select narrow, it will not narrow for you. And look at the audience size. It has exploded from 2+ million to 6 million. Your audience size just got way bigger because you are using the OR function. Okay, so you're saying anybody who's in the job function of marketing or in the VP function, OR function, not the AND function. It is, so an AND actually narrows your audience, and an OR function expands your audience. So if you're trying to narrow your audience, like keeping your audience tight and like within what's doable for your budget, you should not use OR function. You should use an AND function. Okay, now I'll leave it to you to play around as well, because technically you can use just like in Facebook as well. You can use a mixture of OR together with AND function, or AND together with OR, and different variations, just to play around with the audience size and the different segments here. You can show the segment breakdown, right? Where it shows you if you're selecting just this audience set, you're going to see that 100% of them are coming from marketers. There's 11% who also holds a business function of business development, a job function of business development. All right. So you can look through all this function breakdown as well. And yeah, mix and match according to what who you're trying to target. Okay. Now that's in terms of targeting. Remember, you can also exclude audiences. Okay. The most common the most common exclusion to use is to exclude your competitors, right? So you can select competitors, and let's say you can select company names. Okay, let's say Microsoft is your competitor. You can exclude anybody who is currently in Microsoft, and they will not see your ads, right? They will not see your ads. They will not click on your ads, so that they won't waste money. You won't waste your money on advertising to competitors. So that's what you can do as well. Okay. Take note as well as when you are targeting companies, you can actually select people who are currently working there, who used to work at Microsoft, or who are currently, or as well who used to work at Microsoft, right? So if you want to be even more stringent, you can select current or past jobs and exclude that. All right, but usually people just use current jobs because it doesn't make sense to like exclude them if they used to work. If your target audience used to work for a competitor, it doesn't really make sense to exclude them. Okay. Now, once you're done, once you're happy with both the inclusion and the exclusions, okay, and the narrow and the OR and the AND functions, you will see this thing called the Enable Audience Expansion. My recommendation is to deselect this, okay, because if you select this, you're giving LinkedIn more room to expand the audiences beyond just what you have selected here. Okay, now this is a pros and cons here, because let's say if you're doing brand awareness, right, then probably you can just select this one, because LinkedIn will find audiences who are really similar to your targeting criteria here as well, right? But right now, if you are trying to do a very strict lead generation campaign, right, then I would recommend that you deselect this. Okay. Now, just a quick backtrack as well. The other common targeting that people would use as well is job titles. But my recommendation as well as per this example is for you to test out job functions first, and then you can start excluding various job titles or various companies. Just exclude things that you don't want, but start off with job functions. Why is that the case? Because if you select job titles, let's just say we select job titles instead. Okay, this actually narrows your audience pretty much because not everybody call themselves digital marketing manager, right? If you think about it, like digital marketing, some people call themselves growth hackers, right? And if you don't select growth hackers, they are yeah, you miss them out. And look at the audience size; it's so narrow that it's for the entire United States. If you only select digital marketing manager, you're only targeting 29,000 people, which is really low, right? And there's a ton of things that you're going to miss out on. Let's just see whether they're growth hackers. Growth hacker. Yeah, they have a growth hacker. You know what I mean? So I don't know what else people call themselves. Growth genius. I don't know. Yeah, like the Einstein of growth, the growth lead. Let's just see whether they have growth lead. Right? Maybe they don't, right? But some people call themselves growth leads. So you see where I'm going with this. What this does is that the job titles are not, they are not like super titles. They're not consolidated titles. Whereas job functions, let's say if you're targeting all marketers, whether or not they are growth hackers or digital marketers, as long as they're in marketing and they have digital marketing member skill, that's more than enough. And you can actually just put as marketing function. So you capture both digital marketing and growth hackers as well. So that's a quick call out that many people like fall into this trap. And job titles are just really expensive because every beginner marketer, if everybody who is starting out with LinkedIn ads, they will go for job titles because it's the easiest to think about, right? It's the easiest to execute. Easy doesn't mean it's profitable. Easy doesn't mean that if it's easy, everybody's doing it. And if everybody is doing it, the price goes up. So you just want to avoid certain targeting facets that everybody is using, right? And then do your own, right? Do your own and make sure that you have a different kind of targeting, a different kind of angle, so that you don't miss out on the audience and you don't fight with this. We don't fight for the same set of audience with the entire world, right? So that's more cost effective for you and gives you better results on the long term. Once you're done, a quick tip here is if you're happy, save this as a template and you are good to go. So let's just say this is template marketers 1, right? And you can describe it here and you can save, right? Whatever that you want here, save it. Okay, and what this does is that it has saved this template right now, United States, job functions, so that in future, all you need to do in future, right, is to apply this under save audiences. You can select recently used, and it will apply whatever targeting that you have created before to the new campaigns. All right, so you don't have to recreate all this again and again and again, right? Just save it and you can apply it to other campaigns. Okay, and now you have to select the ad format. Now keep in mind that in terms of the ad format, once you select this, you cannot change it again. You cannot change it again, especially if you go live, right? You can't change. Let me repeat that. You cannot change this anymore. You need to recreate the whole thing. So be very sure which ad format you want to use. Okay, for this example, right, we will use a single image ad, which is what I recommend for you to start off with. And yeah, let's just use that for this example. And under placement, you'll see that LinkedIn Audience Network, right? I would suggest that you deselect this. Okay, so what this does is that your ads might show beyond the LinkedIn platform, and it will show to LinkedIn's partners. Now, LinkedIn has different partners as well. Like for example, maybe they work with INC, maybe they work with Entrepreneur.com, maybe they work with all this. What LinkedIn says is that they work with all these big publishing websites. They are highly recognized in the business space, right? That like professional websites. Okay, so not just any network. Okay, but here's the thing: I would encourage you just to still deselect this because you never know when it's gonna where your ads are gonna appear. So keep it clean first. Okay, only select this when you feel like, oh, your current audience has been like exhausted and you want to reach them in different ways as well, or reach new audiences in new ways. Then you can select enable audience network. All right, but deselect this just for now, especially if it's a brand new campaign. If it's a brand new campaign, just make sure that everything's clean, right? So you know you have more control over your ads. All right, now to the next section, we will talk about budget and schedule. Budget and schedule. Okay, so under budget and schedule, there are a couple of things that you can select. Okay, you can select a daily budget, right? Let's say you know that, let's say that you in a month, you know that you want to spend about $100, right? You've got about $3,000 of ad budget. Okay, let's just keep it 5,000. Okay, 5,000 divided by 30 days, and you've got about $166 per day that you want to optimize for. Then that's one way that you can do it as well. Okay, you can even set a start and end date as well. Okay, and over here it'll tell you like, oh, you will spend roughly about how much, but this is not very accurate. To be honest, this is not very accurate. Okay, so this might be more, might be less. Also depends on your audience size, right? Might not be, if your audience size is way too small, might not even be able to deliver this much, right? So just take this like a pinch of salt. I feel it's not super accurate. As of this recording, it's not super accurate. Okay, but yeah. So if you're gonna end it, just put the end date in. Okay, there are a couple of other options here as well. My recommendation is that you select a lifetime budget. Okay, because I'm sure most campaigns will have an end date, right? Like if you need to spend within the quarter, maybe it's based on campaigns, based on campaign types. Maybe it's based on the financial year. Maybe it's based on how you raise your POs, right? Your invoices and all that. And maybe it's every month, right? That you need to run a campaign, right? And then that's how you need to do it. Just select the start date, select an end date, and then just select the lifetime budget, which is $5,000 as an example. Okay. All right, and it's as simple as that, right? Why do I recommend this? Is because when you select a lifetime budget only, what this does is that you give the system, you give the algorithm the chance to optimize evenly throughout the entire month. Now let's just go back to the first example, right? So let's say if you only select a daily budget and you select a daily budget of $100, what typically happens is that it might throttle itself, right? It might throttle itself, meaning like if for example, if there's a lot of traffic on Monday, but there's a lot less traffic on Tuesday, right? It can't be that both have the similar daily budget, right? Monday has more traffic. Monday should be allocated with more budget. Do you know what I mean? Right? And then Tuesday gets a lower allocation. But that's the thing. You based on all this machine learning and all that, and based on the options here, you can't do that. You can't select how much you want to spend for each day itself. Okay, so the best way to optimize evenly throughout and to make sure that you capture all the audiences, whether or not there's a highs or a lows on different days, you don't have to worry. You don't have to like manually come and create all this or monitor this like every hour. That's crazy, right? Don't do that, right? Select a lifetime budget so that at the back end, what LinkedIn does is LinkedIn will optimize this $5,000, spread it out as evenly as possible throughout this 1 month. Okay, they won't spend lifetime budget means throughout the month, right? It's not like within a day you're going to spend everything down for 5,000. If you're afraid, right? If you're afraid, like I'm afraid that LinkedIn's LinkedIn will spread this out. Let me just clarify this. LinkedIn will spread this out for you, right? But let's say you want to be extra safe. You want to set a daily and a lifetime budget as well. You can do that, okay? But to me, it defeats the purpose, right? You can't select an end date if you select this option because, it doesn't make sense to have an end date because you already got a lifetime budget, and so it'll be just a start date, and then you have a lifetime budget. You don't know when this is going to end. Right, so if your campaign needs to end at the end of the month, you can't really control it with this option as well. So pros and cons for everyone as well, for every of these options. Okay, but my recommendation is usually just set and forget. Right, let the algorithm optimize to spend more on days that has more traffic. Right, so let the algorithm do it. We don't know which are the days with more traffic. We don't know. LinkedIn knows, and LinkedIn wants to assist, right? It's in LinkedIn's benefit to assist us as well. Okay, so over here as well, now the next thing we'll see is a bidding strategy. Okay, now what I recommend as for the start of a campaign is to avoid automated bidding. Why? Because if you give full control to the algorithm, like this, let's say this is a brand new campaign, there's no data, and there's no way that LinkedIn can automatically like sort of optimize your campaigns for you, optimize your budget for you. What usually I see is that if you select automated for the start, you're gonna see a spike in the price, right? Like 20% spike, 25%, 30% spike in the price as compared to the other options. Okay, and that's not great. Getting out the door and you're spending so much more. Basically, when you should use automated, right? Use automated only, number one, where you are already spending, you are hitting your daily budgets, right? And you're maxing out your daily budgets, right? So that throttling is not an issue, right? And the other reason to use automated is when you're not too price sensitive, right? Then let's say you've got a very quick campaign that you want to run, that you want to clear a budget to make sure that you have the maximum reach or maximum clicks, right? Then you can select automated to accelerate the pace. Okay, that's the other way to use automated as well. So these are like the various reasons, or you just want to clear your budget, right? So with the most and get the most results at the same time. That's automated. Okay, but if you are more cost sensitive, which I feel if you're running a brand new campaign, you should select manual bidding for a start. Okay, manual bidding. Anyway, there's a manual adjustment here as well. LinkedIn, you actually give LinkedIn a little bit more room to adjust, but at least over here you can select how much how much are you willing to pay for a landing page click. Now, if you bid too low, obviously, right, like the auction, your ads might not show because the bid might be too low and you might be outbidded. Okay. Of course, there are many different other factors that affects the relevance, whether your ad shows up or not, right? Like the ad relevance. But we will talk about that in another video. Okay, but essentially, what you want to do here is to select, and you can key in how much you want to put. LinkedIn recommends a bid. What I recommend is that usually for the first campaign, right, you will go above, slightly above the landing page, the recommended value, right? Maybe 10, 20, 30% up to you above the landing page click. Why? Why? Especially for a brand new campaign. Why should you do that? It's because you want to front load the ads. And what do I mean by front loading is that you want to know upfront within a week or within a few days whether your ads are performing well, right? And to know whether your ads are performing well, you need your ads to show. And in order for your ads to show, you need to be a little bit more aggressive at the start just to show your ads. Does that make sense? Right? Okay. So with that said, right? So the other saving grace here is that you are only charged on you're charged on a second price auction model. Now, a second price auction model basically means you only pay 1 cent higher than the next highest bidder. Okay. So let's say the next highest bidder, you bid at $18. The next highest bidder maybe bid at $10. Okay. You don't pay $18 to win the bid. Right? How much do you pay? You only pay $10.01 to win the bid, although you bid at $18. Okay, so that's what I mean by second price auction model. And you notice that you're putting at, let's just say you're putting at $50. You're not going to pay $50, definitely not, right? But let's just say that, okay, if you put at $50 and then in the dashboard, right, the report, it shows that, oh, the average clicks that you're getting, you're paying is $18 or $18.01, right? Then you know that you can actually reduce this. You don't need to bid at $50. You can actually bid at probably $18 or $19 because that's, once you get some data, you already know roughly where that's going to be, right? What the price action is going to be. Okay, so once you've selected your bidding strategy, so you can scroll down, right? Conversion tracking, we'll cover that in a separate tutorial. Once you're happy, click next. Once you click next, by the way, right, you will see this and they will remind you that you cannot change your objective and you cannot change your ad format anymore, as mentioned earlier. So be very sure that your objective and the ad format is the correct one that you've selected. If not, you have to recreate this campaign if it's wrong. All right, so let's just click save and move forward. Okay, right now you will see you can create your ads over here. Okay, and you can select create a new ad. Okay, let's just create a new ad. And you can select here ad sample 1. Okay, this is a sample ad. Okay, and then you can put in the destination. Maybe let's just use business.linkedin.com. Let's just use this as a destination. Okay, and you can scrape. It will automatically pull out for you the ad image as well as the headline, etc. But we're going to change this, of course. Okay, keep in mind as well that let me just see a second. Okay, a couple of notes here as well. If you're trying to tag people, like maybe you're trying to tag at LinkedIn, right? Or maybe at your company name. Okay, maybe you're trying to tag other people or other companies. You can't do that here. Okay, you can't do that. This is only pure text. To do that, you need to post as an organic first, and then once it's an organic, you need to sponsor that organic ad. If you leave in the comments, right, if you want me to go through that and create a video all about that, I will do that for you. But if not, just let me know in the comments if you want to see how to do that. But if not, you can't tag people in your ads unless it's an organic ad first. Okay. All right. So once you're done with that, you can change this here. Upload. I'm just gonna find a sample. Hopefully, I can find one. Sample creative. Okay. Let it load for a while, and this is your headline. Make it stand out. Okay, stand out. Okay, Then description is not necessary. So usually I don't put any description because it doesn't show. So yeah, I usually leave that out. Okay, and this is how your ad looks, and you can put newsfeed or in mobile how it looks. Always make sure that it looks great on mobile. Don't make sure that it's just not too small. All right, and there you go. Once you're happy, select the call to action. Don't forget the call to action. Learn more, maybe if you want to learn more, and it should come up here. Give it a second, and there you go. Call to actions, learn more. All right, and once you're happy with this, create, and you are good to go. You are good to go, and here you go. Now, of course, I've not put any billing information yet because this is a demo account. But yeah, once you put in your billing information, you can select active, and you can just launch your ads. Okay. Now, to launch your ads, it's not done yet, right? So you're gonna click next again. Click next. Okay, and it'll show you an overview, right, of what you have done, what you've selected, your bidding schedule, etc. And once you're happy, just click on launch campaign right at the bottom here. Launch campaign. And there you go. Right, there you go. Great job. Okay. You have launched your campaign. So congrats. Okay. So to see the ads within this campaign, what you can do is to select this, right? Okay. And then you can go to ads. And you can see the ad that has just been created. Now, of course, it's not live right now because there's no billing. I'll need to include my credit card information in before this thing goes live. Okay. And what you can do as well is that, yeah, you can't change this right now because account is on hold status. So, but you can select this, right, from active to non-active. If you want to pause this, right, you can pause this here. Okay, so a couple of other things to take note of as well. Like you can actually select different filters. Okay. Okay, but I think what's more important is the columns. Okay, so they give you some default columns as well. You can select delivery column, so you can see like if your focus is on delivery, right, it'll show you the reach, right, the number of impressions. Okay, as well as you can customize the columns if you have certain columns that you just want to see. Like just think of it like how Facebook is doing. Is what you can do as well, right? ROAS, total conversions divided. So a ton of matrix here for you to explore. Okay, now let's just go back to the default. Okay, breakdown, you don't really need this that much, okay? Now you can also select the time range. Now this one, let me just show you a very quick hack. It's time range. And let's just say, here you go. Yeah, you can select time range here based on what, yeah, over here, this quarter, this month, right? So these are little hacks that I use. Like you don't have to select one by one, like go through all the way, to November 1st. And, it's just long and then click here. Yeah, it's just a hassle. So you can use this side panel here for the dates. Okay, so that's here in terms of like navigating the reporting dashboard. Okay, and if you go up to the top here, you can also see a performance chart. Okay, so let's just say this campaign has gone live. You can click on performance chart and it will show you the different performance. Okay, now let's just say you want only a certain date, right? You can actually just drag and drop, and let's just say you only want from 1st Jan to maybe 1st September 2020, drag, drop, and it will just zoom in like that. Okay, and you can click on reset zoom just to go back to the base timeline that you have set. Okay, for me, I've selected all time. All right, okay, and other things here, you can select by different view. You can select by performance, by demographics, like what kind of demographics people are clicking into your campaign. Now this is the campaign, right? It's campaign level. Who are clicking on your campaigns? Whether what kind of job functions are clicking, what kind of job titles. It's brilliant. It's so good. This is so good because literally you can see what kind of companies, which companies are clicking to your website. So if your sales guys are trying to target maybe a certain set of 500 companies, you can actually see here that which are the top engaged companies. Okay, it's pretty amazing. And over here as well, because we've only got performance, you can actually select other metrics to look at, like leads, sponsored messaging, videos, etc. But let's just select performance for the standard for now. And essentially that's it, right? It's as straightforward as it is. Not as complex as Google ads or Facebook ads, right? But it's great enough, good enough. This is something that the other platforms do not provide. They can't. Other platforms don't provide like, oh, what kind of industry your audiences are from, what kind of companies they're from, what kind of job seniority, because this professional data is very unique to LinkedIn. So make full use of this. All right. Okay, so a couple other things as well, just to round up as well. Just take note here, if you click on website demographics, Okay, so this is campaign performance. If you select campaign performance, it will show you all these campaigns, right? If you select website demographics, it will show you the different kind of audiences who are visiting your website. Okay, now just keep in mind, this is not ads. This is free of charge. FOC, free of charge. Get this done today. Okay. Yeah, okay, all right, guys. Like, leave a comment. Like, if you love this free of charge, all right. If you love this free function, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Okay. So this is free, right? What this does is that if you put what we call the LinkedIn Insight tag, later on, which I'll cover in a while, once you put the LinkedIn Insight tag to your website, LinkedIn can actually read who's going to your website, what kind of demographics are going to your website. And this is so unique to LinkedIn. Like, Facebook can't really tell you exactly what kind of, job titles are coming to your website. Now you can see that for the B2B house, let me just show you the B2B house. The B2B house, right? Just check it out. For this website, okay, there's a LinkedIn Insight tag that has been installed. Okay, and once the LinkedIn tag is installed, we can see that, okay, this page is getting about 6,516 page views since this all pages was created, since this Insight tag was placed, right? It's about 6,000 plus page views. And then they've got like digital marketing specialists who, makes up 5%, people who are founders, marketing managers, digital specialists. You'll notice that it's plenty of marketers and founders who are coming to the website, which is great because, this is meant for marketers, right? So yeah. And what you can do as well is you can create other sets of audiences, which I'll show you how to do in a while, and you can compare that. Okay? But essentially, this is free. Get it done. You want to know what kind of company size companies are coming to your website. People from LinkedIn is visiting this page as well, right? So you've got company industry, people from marketing and advertising. Okay, company sizes. Okay. So mainly people from with 11 to 50 employee sizes tends to come and visit this website more often. Okay, now how do you get this free function? So the very first thing is you need to install your LinkedIn Insight tag. Now this is already installed, which is why you're seeing this, right? Like the last signal received is active 16 minutes ago, but typically this is not. You won't see anything if you don't install it properly. So you can select this by Manage Insight Tag, okay, and you can click See Insight Tag, and it will show you how you can install it. Okay, I typically use the Google Tag Manager. Just copy this tag ID, and in a separate video, leave a like and comment if you want me to go through how you can install the LinkedIn Insight tag and to check whether your LinkedIn Insight tag is working, right? And all this extra custom meshed audiences that you can create. If you want me to go through that, just let me know in the comments section, okay? Just leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe as well. All right. Okay, so once you're done, right, you can you can create different kind of audiences. Okay, so let me just show you how to create. If you go to meshed audiences, okay, meshed audiences, you can create audiences. So create maybe someone who has retarget by, okay, let's just see, give me a second, my website, right, here you go. So you can select that, okay, this is all pages, maybe someone who audiences who visited, maybe let's just say who visited the LinkedIn ads targeting page. Okay, this is the LinkedIn ads targeting page. So anybody who visited this page, all right, or maybe just what I prefer to do is if it contains, right, this in the URL, which it does, it contains there. Here you go, this in the URL. Okay, then this will be a new set of audiences. Okay, you can also add and also, which is like an all function. Okay, hang on, sorry, this is the end function. This narrows your audience. A new or function. Okay, so this or anybody who also visited. Let me just see. LinkedIn ads benchmark. This was pretty hot. Okay, so anybody else who visited this page, okay, contains, right, and they would be LinkedIn ads targeting or benchmark page. Okay. And you can just create. Boom, there you go. Okay, once you're done, once there's some signal, right, you should be able to use the free tool, Website Demographics, to compare the demographics. Okay, let's just see whether it can pull up now. No, it can't, it doesn't pull up. So you gotta give it a while, right? Give it a while. And once it's ready, it has pulled enough audiences, right? You will be able to compare the different audiences, like all pages versus just people who visited, members who visited this page. What's the difference? What's the make the demographic difference, the psychographic difference, right? So that's what you can do. Now, essentially, that's all in terms of like the how you can set your beginning, how you can begin to run LinkedIn ads in a proper way. And I hope this video has been useful for you. Leave in the comments, like, subscribe, and let me know what other questions you have. And I'll be more than happy to help and reply you. So yeah, take care and see you all in the next video. Cheers.